a moment of gratitude, what's going on with me and the channel, and a spring book haul. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to the next chapter. My name is Christopher Navo and I'm going to be your host. If this is your first time joining, thank you for stopping by. Please stick out to the end, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the content. This is the only way I can grow. Today's video is primarily going to be a fun video all about the books I've just received. These could be gifts I purchased for myself, or were gifted to me, or provided to me by the author themselves as kind of like a promotion copy. So we'll dig into these books really shortly, but I also want to use these book haul videos as a way to keep you guys informed of kind of what's going on in my life that might affect the channel. This would also include any updates I decide to make to this channel. But first, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you. I just started this channel 2 weeks ago as of this recording, and I am truly overwhelmed and humbled by the amount of support I have already received from this community. Whether it was a personal call out on a Discord channel, an invite to a live discussion, or a reading sprint, or a future buddy read. This has just been so overwhelming for me, and I really appreciate this so much. So whether you're a fellow content creator, author, a viewer, or a friend or family, thank you so much for letting me do this. And I can only continue to evolve and grow with this channel and this community. Thank you. So April so far has been very productive. As mentioned on the my April TBR video, I am part of a readathon with the Key Mark Discord. But very last minute, I think on the very last day after I already published that video, I joined the Battle of the Band readathon as well. And so I have two simultaneously going on, but I'm just kind of working in my both my the books I read for the month into both of those readathons. So it's been a lot of fun meeting a lot of new people, some great support, of course, as mentioned in the gratitude. And it's just been a fun way of not only pushing myself to read, but also just, getting that communication with each other has just been a very rewarding experience for me. So later on in April, I will be out for extended weekend for 4 days. I will be in Vancouver, Canada. This is for another expensive hobby I have beside collecting books, and that is Lego. I am what is called an AFOL, and that is an adult fan of Lego. The cool thing is this is something I do with my spouse. We both we buy of course the kit you find in stores, but we do a lot of our own creations as well. And there's plenty of conventions around the country, around the world even, that where you bring your builds and your creations and you show them on display. And these are usually weekend conventions going on, and there's one in Vancouver, Canada that we're participating in, and that one's called Brickhand. We each of us build a small float, because we're part of a collaboration and we're building one big parade when you put them all together. And this was something easy I could do because it wasn't a very large build, and it was something I can participate in because I haven't done a lot of building in the recent months, but when I get going again, it's just a lot of fun. So I will be showing my small float up there, but it's part of a larger collab with a group of 6 or 7 of us. So I'll be doing that in April. But I should have a couple of videos prepared for that weekend, at least one. So you won't miss out on any of my content. In June, I will be gone the last 2 weeks of that month to Italy. This is a trip between me and my spouse, as well as 2 of my good friends. And we're just going to be going a little bit all over Italy, Rome, of course, Capri, Venice, and then we're going to head over to Pura in Croatia. And then the archaeologist in me, we're going to be going to Pompeii and Ostia, so to see some of those more ancient city sites. So this is going to be just a great trip for me. I haven't been there in many years, and it'd be nice to go back. Again, content, I will try to have at least one video ready to go prior to leaving. There will probably be a gap with this trip on when I'll get my next video out. Obviously, when I get back, it'll be the beginning of July, so I will have my new July TBR, as well as anything I write in June, which probably won't be much. My June TBR will probably be a very small list. I do plan, of course, to enjoy the sites while I'm in Rome, but I also need my downtime, and I will have a book with me as well. As for days I want to plan to put out content, I am still kind of seeing what patterns I have emerge in my daily routine. I'm still, of course, new to doing this platform, so I'm trying to figure out how many I can put out in like a month's time period. I have been putting them out like 3 or 4 days at a time, but a couple of those were prepared before I released my intro video. So now that I'm kind of doing my videos after like one after another, rather than having a couple prepared prior to starting, I just want to see what I have for time when I factor in my full-time job, my life with my family, my writing, and my keeping up my computer science skills that I just learned from graduating, and trying to keep those skills fresh in my head. So yeah, I'm cycling through a lot and going through a lot, but I do want to give you guys, I think, a set schedule, or a tentative set schedule on when I release videos. And then of course I would definitely keep you all updated on if that schedule changes. All right, let's talk a little bit about the books I have going on here, and somehow going to work many of these into my TBR. It's just going to be a matter of time and pacing, but I'm gonna try to work these in. These first 2 books are actually books I already own. They are actually kind of special to me because I just recently in March attended Emerald City Comic-Con. This is a localized convention here in Seattle every March. It's like any standard Comic-Con convention. You're gonna have your sci-fi fantasy celebrities, a lot of artwork, Marvel and DC, manga, all the good stuff. But we also have a lot of guest authors, which is, of course, my favorite part, because not only do they are there for signings, but they're also there in panels, and they talk about their writing, which is opening up the writing part of me. So it's just an awesome time. But 2 great authors that have just always been in my heart for many years were in attendance, and one of them was Terry Brooks. He signed my Sword of Shannara book. I've already had this for a while, yeah, I got a nice signature from this gentleman here, and he was a just really nice guy, just took your time to talk to you a little bit, even though there's a line and all that. Just a really sweet man. The other author that was there was Robin Hobb. And so same thing, just wonderful person. Just took your time with the signing. She didn't rush you or anything like that, and talk to you. And she also was part of a panel too, so I got to see her a couple times. So again, super nice. She signed my Ship of Magic hardcover, and I got her signature there. So these were just some initial call outs I wanted to make for these 2 authors that mean so much to me. While I was there, there was this map maker who puts together these famous maps from like Westeros and Narnia and Earthsea, and puts them on these canvases. I purchased one of these as well, and I got one of, I had to go with The Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth. I hope you guys can see this in the final release of this video, but I thought this was so cool. I'm just gonna frame for this and put it up on my bookshelf. Up on top, I have some white space available up there. So yeah, those, I just wanted to give you, these are things I already had. So I just wanted to show you that you should look at cons near you. You might be surprised on what authors are gonna show up to these. And yeah, it was a fun time. So this first book was gifted to me, and that is Prince of Wasteland by Joseph Sale. This book was provided to me by Andrew from Andrew Wizardly Reads. I won a patron pick off of where he provided me a book from my own Amazon wish list and sent it to me. This I saw on actually Leslie's channel from the Nerdy Narrative. I just discovered her channel probably when I started my own, but she's been around for a while. She's got a great channel, and I can tell her books really mesh well with my tastes. And she mentioned this book, and I thought, yeah, okay, this is right up my alley. It's kind of like this blend of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. So you kind of get a little big mix of genres. There's like, I believe, 6 in this series so far. And Andrew also seemed excited for it, and he said that's why I picked that one, because it seemed cool too. So yeah, thank you, Andrew, for this book, and thank you, Leslie, from the Nerdy Narrative, for talking about this book and recommending it. I can't wait to dig in. Next up, this is a book provided to me by the author. This is N.C. Kausis. I want to say his name right, in The Sword of Mercy and Wrath, book 1 of the Dominion War Part 1. Just looked really cool. It's really dark. It's these trained assassins, and we are following a woman in this. I never turned down a assassin book, so I am pretty excited to dig into this one as well. And that again is The Sword of Mercy and Wrath by N.C. Kausis. This next group of books is actually from one author. I didn't expect 3 books. I expected, maybe the first book, but these are from Mike Mullman, and they are Becoming a Druid and Sins and Sorrows. And the last one is To Speak with Elders. And yeah, this was awesome. Thank you for sending these, Mike. The first one looks like it's going to be Becoming the Druid, and just the little bit of the blurb here doesn't give anything away. Graham wanted to be a druid for as long as he can remember. Talented and headstrong, he runs afoul of a despotic, mind-controlling mage during his initiation quest. So intrigue and disgust have turned the druids against him. Haggard and hunted, he must make impossible sacrifices or lose everything. I'm all for that. So yeah, I can't wait to dig into these. And again, thank you, Mike. This next book is actually a collection of novellas and by the author. And I got to chat with him a little bit off and on some of the discussions I've seen him in, and as well as Discord. I've had a couple of direct messages with him as well. But I had this purchased as well. Prior to him offering to send it to me. And that is the Voidwalker collection by Derek Bailey. This is a set of 8 novellas all in one volume. So that's really cool to have it in one volume like that. I'm a big fan of purple and black. So I like definitely color is a really good pop for the cover. So I'm looking forward to digging into a couple of these. The novellas are, of course, pretty short, so I can probably work in a couple each month, or maybe even several. But yeah, it looks like a really cool collection. I can't wait to start it. And just a little bit of this book. It says, "Welcome to the Manor, where parties with only the finest food and most interesting of people are held. But is this place a paradise or a trap? Are the people here friends or enemies? Is it even real?" Sounds cool. So next up, so I already had this book in my kind of like purchased for myself. Again, this is kind of like my support to the indie industry. And that was J.R. Carroll's More Than a Vampire. This is, he is a YouTuber as well. You can check out his channel at J.R. Carroll. But he reached out actually to me not too long ago and provided me an audio of another one within this series. These are standalone novels, but they do kind of have that a More Than Human novel is kind of like the series name. And this one is called More Than a Gunslinger. And so this audio that he sent me is this Western style fantasy. You're going to have a female POV as the main protagonist. That's all I know, so I'm kind of staying in the dark on that because, again, you know, that's how I like to roll. So I'm going to actually hit that one first with the audio since he provided me that, and then I'll get back to More Than a Vampire. Yeah, so again, thank you, Joseph. And again, please check out his channel and check out these books if they sound interesting. So the next book I picked up was The Severin Son by Von Roycroft. This I don't know too much about besides the blurb, but I gonna go into this one blind just to see what it's about. I do know that Philip Chase from the Best of Fantasy channel, he actually had an interview with this author, and Matt from Matt on Books actually did a non-spoiler review on this book. I haven't watched either of those videos, but I did want to give shout outs to those two in case you want to know a little bit more about this book. I'm going to go in a little bit blind and just see what I think about it. So that's again The Severin Son by Von Roycroft. So this next book I got was Andrew D. Meredith's Deathless Beast, and it's part of the Kalishan saga, and that's book one. I think there's 2 books to this saga, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it could be corrected in the comments. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I hear good things about this author. I've seen him around on the Discord channel as well as some of the videos from other booktubers, particularly Tori from Tori Talks. Seen him on her channel, and she's talked about his books and highly recommends them. He just recently published a recent book to his Needle and Leaf series. He had Fourscored, but his most recent is Thrice. So that's another series I'll have to read. So I figured I better catch up a little bit on this author, see what he's about. So I'm pretty excited to dig into his book here. So this next book I want to mention is this is going to be more of a sci-fi. I needed a little more, try to pick up the variety from, I have a ton of fantasy, so I wanted to get a little more of a sci-fi book into this. Another one I'm kind of going into blind, but I thought it was, the blurb sounded pretty cool. And that is Goodbye to the Sun, Wide Tide Book 1 by Jonathan Navarre. Yeah, I don't know too much, but I'm really excited to read this. And of course, when I'm ready to start reading this, I'll give you guys a little more of what this book's about. I haven't seen it on any channels that I know of. I must have missed. But yeah, I'm all for, again, the support for the indie book industry. So pretty excited for this one. And then I picked up this is another recommendation by Andrew from Andrew Wizardly Reads. He did a whole video on this author, so make sure you check that out if it sounds interesting. And that's the Swordsman Lament by G.M. White, and that's a Royal Champion Book 1. Yeah, Andrew sold it to me in his video, so I thought, yeah, I'm gonna give this guy a chance. This is book 1. There's a prequel, and then I think there's a second book out currently. Andrew recommends starting with book 1, then hitting the sequel, and then book 2. But, he said it wasn't necessary, but I'm going to read it the way he told me to. So again, thanks, Andrew. And I'm going to look forward to reading this book as well someday. And then some traditional books are ending out this pile. Of course, I have the Coldfire trilogy starting this month with the first book, and I am trying to find the other two in paperback. I did get the third one in paperback, so I'm still waiting on the second one, and that's The Crown of Shadows, and that's by C.S. Friedman, and this is the third book to the Coldfire trilogy. Still waiting on the second one. So the next book I picked up finally after seeing it talked about quite a bit, and just from the premise I understand, it should be right in my wheelhouse because it's very dark and very gritty, and that is We Are the Dead by Mike Shackle. Most recently, I've seen this talked about on Mike's channel from Mike's Book Reviews, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna work this in as soon as I can. I've been hearing so many great things, and I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy this. So this next set of books I read a long time ago, but they've just recently come out with some kind of like some special edition versions of them. You can find these anywhere. They're not like hard to find. They're very mainstream editions, but they're really cool for being able to find them mainstream, and they're just about regular price. So last year I picked up the original Dune, in again a little bit of a nicer cover, gorgeous like spines with the spray painted blue, and yeah, I've always loved this series. It's kind of got me into sci-fi when I was a little bit younger. Very enjoyable. And then of course recently they released the other two books to this series with Dune Messiah, and again same edges there. And the third book, Children of Dune, which was actually kind of my personal favorite of these three books. And yeah, same thing, but really happy to have these on the shelf. They look really cool. And yeah, that's Dune for you. So all content creators I mentioned today will be linked in the description. Make sure to check out their channels. Otherwise, my name is Christopher Navo. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you again for making these first 2 weeks as a booktuber in an amazing journey. I can only continue to grow and evolve. Otherwise, I hope to see you in the next chapter. Take care.